In the 17th century, an ordinary Frenchman firmly believed that Queen of Austria and Cardinal Giulio Mazarini were lovers. The Queen elevated the Italian, stood by him when all of France was against him, and even lived in the same palace with him. The missteps of rulers are always in plain sight, easily giving rise to speculation. It is known that they met through Richelieu when Mazarini had not yet donned the red cassock and came to Paris as a papal envoy. Allegedly, at that moment, the acerbic chief minister remarked to Anne of Austria, "Look how much he resembles Buckingham." Mazarini did not stay long in the French capital and returned several years later to remain permanently. In reality, it was not the Queen who elevated the Cardinal. Like a chess piece on a board, he was moved by two players, the Pope and Richelieu. The latter was the one who petitioned the pontiff to make Mazarini a cardinal, recognizing great potential in the ambitious and intelligent Italian. Mazarini truly came into his own only after the deaths of both his patrons. Left a widow, Queen Anne of Austria found herself in a difficult position. The very ambitious brother of Louis XIII was eager for power, and there were other princes who wished to take the reins. Fearing for her life and freedom, the Queen chose to leave the vast Louvre. Where else but for the Cardinal's palace? Only Mazarini was not living there at the time. But the public certainly took note of this, and soon rumors of an affair began to spread. The Muses reacted first. Vaudreuil, the most famous poet of the time, penned verses for Anne of Austria. Street scribes responded more directly, using expressions that would not be repeated in polite society. The Cardinal, tired of renting a mansion nearby, eventually moved into the Palais Cardinal. The rooms assigned to him were connected to the Queen's bedroom by a small gallery. Naturally, everyone learned of this, and it didn't take long for whispers to turn into louder conversations. A second indication of their relationship was Anne of Austria's unwavering trust in all of Mazarini's appointees. He began to assign important positions to his people. The public loathed the Italian minister Paisiello. Times were tough, and the minister was imposing new taxes. Why did the Queen allow this? Did she love and trust Mazarini? The French also believed in the connection between the Cardinal and the Queen because they could not find a single mistress for Mazarini. After all, he was a relatively young, active man, far from being an ascetic. The Cardinal enjoyed luxury, savored fine Italian wine, and could play cards. His predecessor Richelieu, for example, frequented the courtesan Marion Delorme, while Cardinal Lavalette was known to be infatuated with Princess Condé. Yet, Mazarini headed to his bedroom alone? However, the Queen's historian, Claude Dulong, writes that it's unlikely there was any genuine intimacy between Anne of Austria and the Cardinal. There were always third parties around the French ruler, and she even went to bed in the presence of one of her maids of honor. How could she entertain a lover under such circumstances? Yet, throughout the years that the Cardinal was by the Queen's side, Anne of Austria demonstrated such loyalty and attachment to him that rumors continued to swirl. Both the public and the Parliament, as well as various princes, repeatedly demanded Mazarini's removal. The Queen occasionally made concessions, but the Cardinal always managed to return. Letters between Anne of Austria and Mazarini could have dispelled any doubts, but they were so skillful at encoding their messages. Using symbols, special marks, strokes, and dashes, they conveyed their true thoughts to one another. Historians still ponder the meaning of these stars and other signs. Do they confirm the existence of a romance? Perhaps, but it's not definitive. Gradually, Mazarini's role in France became so significant, and his wealth even more so, that he eventually became fearful himself. When the heir to the throne, Louis XIV, fell in love with Mazarini's niece, the Cardinal insisted that the girl leave the country. He understood that no one would accept an Italian queen. After Mazarini's death, the court went into mourning. This was an unprecedented honor for someone who had governed France for nearly 20 years. Mourning attire was typically reserved for royal family members, not ministers. Yet the Queen asked the ladies in her circle not to mention the Cardinal's name. She explained, "The king is already upset enough." But almost no one doubted at that moment that it was Anne of Austria who was grieving the most.